Welcome into the Game Plan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. We are here in the Command Center, Big Bear AI Studio, ready to celebrate a dub with our coach. We got a big win over NFC East foe, the New York Giants. How great was it to get back in the win column?
Man, we needed to be on that left-hand side. That is for sure. Nothing quite like a winning locker room. You know, these guys, and this is all around the league, they work so hard at it. And so to see that connection with them after the game and knowing they put it all into it and then got it done, like, it's a big deal.
I mean, how was it for the coaches? I mean, everyone forgets all the work that the coaches put in. How was it for you guys and the staff to get that?
I told the team, man, take a couple extra minutes. Man, enjoy this one. It's been a tough spot. And I said, if I had to go through something really hard, like, this is the type of crew I'd want to go through that with if I had to. And I don't want to, but that's the type of guys that are here. I love the fight, the attitude. There's plenty to clean up. Some of the mistakes, some of those things of turnover margin and penalties that were too much, and those we have to fix. But to see the fight and get back on the correct side of the column, that was a big deal, Brian.
Coach, those post-game locker room sounds, man, I love those. You get so juiced, and you brought some more sound to us earlier this week. We found out some updates about Jaden Daniels. He'll be shut down for the rest of the season. What goes into that decision-making?
Yeah, so he still hasn't been cleared, to play. And so as we're going through this week, that decision wasn't going to be available till the end. And then we have a short week next week with Christmas.
Yeah.
And we just thought, man, the best thing here for him, for the team, he can practice and still work those things. There's nothing like playing for the growth. But in this instance, it was the right call. Sometimes the more difficult right over the easier wrong. And in this spot, he's not on IR, so he'll get to practice, continue to work those things. And also, it was important for him to give the kind of support to Marcus that he gives to him. And so I hope when you talk to him in the offseason that, you know what, I had a different vantage point, a different viewpoint, and hopefully I'm never in that spot again, but this is what I learned and how I got better.
And do you think that's an important part of the development process for Jaden, is helping Marcus? Because again, like, I remember when we were in Atlanta and, the two Matts always helped each other out.
Yes.
Like, is that something you see kind of with this relationship here?
I do, and Marcus has been such a good leader for us, and it's kind of a way to pay it forward, pay it back, however you want to go through it. But and it's also the right thing for Marcus. He's absolutely earned the right to have all the reps in the week, to get himself ready to play as well, because it's not as easy. You don't get the reps, then you go into play and get into it. So for him, it's a big deal. So I had a chance to visit with both of them and explain that. And of course, Jaden wants to go. That's the competitor, but he also understood and the decision in that way.
And Coach, you mentioned Jaden getting to watch Marcus Mariota and how valuable that is. That leadership that Marcus Mariota has brought to this team all season long, man, how valuable is that?
Yeah, he's such a well-regarded teammate here. Like, if you had asked anybody on either side, his name would come up. It's him, the Jeremy Reeves, that just can impact others just by being in the building. Like, they make other people better, not just the other players, like the building better. And that says a lot about who he is. And so, he'll do great in his space and going forward. We're bummed for Jaden, but knowing that Marcus, he's ready for that.
What have you seen from his preparation? Because again, he's played, like you said, played really well. Like, how has he prepped, and how has his experience led him to the success we've seen from this season?
Yeah, I think he plays fast.
Yeah.
He likes to make quick decisions, be decisive. He likes to get on the ball and get rolling. He's had an unbelievable history in that. So there's some things that he knows about, the zone read offense that, a small percentage of people in the world would know.
Sure.
Yeah.
The smallest of the details. And so it's fun to see him into that spot. But the competitiveness, and then getting reps with everybody, Terry being back and being into the space and working with Debo. So for him, he'll be ready to go for sure.
And Coach, you mentioned it. I got to imagine Marcus Mariota's job got a little easier when Terry came back, and we saw that against the Giants. Terry found a way. We call him the Giant Slayer. He found a way to get back into that end zone. How valuable has it been, not only for Terry, not only for the wide receiver room, but the entire team having Terry back on that field?
Yeah, and play call, significance, to that one. There's a certain coverage that, play would beat, and same thing with the one with Sinnott. So I thought, sometimes, Brian, you got to get to a check that's the right play. We call that like a premier look, or get to the best play. And so Marcus did that on that.
Did he really?
Play.
Yeah, wow.
That's fantastic, man.
That's a cool
Love
thing.
that insight.
And you could see coming off, what a good call. He was pumped to hear the call coming in and then go execute it, because very rarely does it go exactly, like you had done it during the week. So it was a big play, a turning point one for us for sure.
And again, like you mentioned Ben Sinnott, like how does Terry's return impact a guy like him? Again, like some of the play action stuff down the seam for Ben, just other guys getting ops because Terry's back, it feels like.
Yeah, and then you get a playmaking ability for him, like caused a penalty, on one coming out of the end zone. So sometimes doesn't even show up in the catch. Like we're coming off our own goal line and throwing to him, they foul him. All right, it's 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line now, not the 4 or the 2 or whatever it was. And so there's a lot of ways that he impacts it. It just opens up more players in the field, and that's a big deal.
Sure.
And Coach, when you look at this run game, I think we all were a little shocked to see Chris Rodriguez inactive, but we knew that it meant it was time for the next guy to step up.
Yeah.
And Bill did that in a tremendous way, 90-plus yards. I think for the second time this season. What have you seen from him as far as a development standpoint from our rookie running back?
Yeah, he's hungry.
Yeah.
And like I see the resilience, I see the fight, the inside, the tackles runs. Those are the ones that just jump out to me. And again, even on the touchdown run, putting his foot in the ground and getting vertical. So he's making like the progress and the development that you want. He's working hard in practice on the kickoff return. He's working hard like in protection. I was proud of him. Like sometimes at the end of the game, people just say, I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring the safety. I'm going to bring this. And like, boom, good block. And so those are the trusting moments as a running back. Like I am going to take care of the QB. Like you have to have that mindset. Like I'll be in front of him and the quarterback. And like he is not getting through me.
And so is that development coming from practice or the mentorship of McNichols? Like what do you attribute it to?
I would say a little bit of both, but practice for sure. And for him, proving it over and over again, and the running skills, have always been there. To see that whole thing come together, that's a big deal for us.
And Coach, we're going to talk about the defense, but I have to talk about Jalen Lane and that punt return because he did something that hasn't been done since 1994. I was 2 years old, and I loved that you took time to shout out Brian Mitchell in that moment to say, yes, this is something you did, but there's a guy in the building that did it before you, man. How great was it to see Jalen Lane get into that end zone and be able to celebrate his second punt return?
It's cool because, earlier in the spring, like we had Brian also come out, spend time with the returners. Like this is a heavy hitter in the history of the league.
Yeah.
Like not just our franchise, but like ever.
Best ever, man. Maybe,
and, so to see that happen, there's another connection there, because of B. Mitch. And so it was good, man. We thought there'd be a chance for some returns. It's cold. The wind's going to be a factor. Could the return game, because he had a 20-yard return earlier in the game to set up some good field position. But that one, there's an excitement and like an energy that comes from a kick return or a punt return that goes like people just lose their mind and go crazy. And so it's so much fun. And so to have that happen twice for him this year, I think it speaks to like what's ahead, for him as a returner.
And Coach, before we wrap, I do got to mention our defense because we are going against some heavy hitters in the Eagles. Haven't seen them since the NFC Championship game. We know what they have. We know all the weapons they have. How have you been able to game plan and get our defense prepared for this matchup? Yeah,
I was pleased to see the resilience in the last game, against New York, because goal line stand, 4 shots from the 1, had a stop at the end of the game, had some stops. And those are the kind of plays that you have to make against a good offense like Philadelphia. When the moments come and you got to stand up and make a play, those are the times. And so having done that, that's a big deal for us. And so, last time they got the best of us. And so, we're very much looking forward to, to going to battle with them.
And Coach, it's always fun sitting down with you after a win. We'll talk a little bit later, but now it's time for you and Logan to get into film study. Appreciate you, Coach.
Sounds good.
Always great getting to sit down with Coach and Logan. Now, while they prepare for some film study, let's get into our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudon's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. And this week's Prime Player is rookie running back Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. In our Week 15 win versus the New York Giants, Bill led the running back committee on the ground with 18 carries, 96 yards, and a touchdown. This was his second career game with 90-plus rushing yards. Even quarterback Marcus Mariota described his performance as unbelievable in his post-game press conference after the win over the Giants. Big shout out to our guy Bill for making the most of every opportunity. Now we are headed to break. When we come back, Coach and Logan will be back to break down some Commanders highlights in film study. Later on, Logan, Coach, and I will count down the kickoff. We'll be back after the break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for Film Study, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, Coach and Low.
Thanks, Brian. Coach, one of the things I loved about this game against the Giants was the complementary nature of the performance, right? You got great special teams, great defense. And this play, I thought, was just an awesome way to start off kind of this really positive sequence of plays. Get this double vice down here at the bottom, get the single up top with T.O. And in these moments, these singled guys, the gunners, they have to win these matchups. And he's done a great job all year of making the punter right, basically.
Yeah, you know, like a December day like this with wind and everything, like special teams and field position was absolutely going to be a factor. So bringing there, singled up T.O. to the side, he is absolutely flying right now. And so it's a good punt, and to flip field position like that, now T.O. going to take a shot, other guys going, and now you see kind of relentless energy going to get into the hit, man. I love seeing that many white jerseys around the ball, and that is flying, and that's running and hitting, man.
I think that's it, man. It's like, it's the energy of it, right? In this game, this cold game, it's so easy to kind of say, oh, not today, man.
Yes.
It's a little bit too much. You get everybody, all 11 guys. We'll leave Tress back here. You can stay back here. But, 10 guys running, working to the football, and I just see guys, hats, attacking. No one's content. And again, Revo, it's very fitting that he finishes the playoff.
And, Tress may not be making the tackle, but he was just as excited as everybody else on the way down.
I mean,
he knew it was
what is that? I mean,
already.
that's a 65, 70-yard punt. Like, he can be excited about that.
Field position fast.
Yeah, so love that again. So this sets up a great defensive series by you guys, and it starts off very fittingly by a guy who's done it at a very high level for a long time. That's Von Miller, and he just kind of had this guy on this sequence. In particular, number 72 in fits. He gets the pressure run before, gets a sack here. Coach, what are you seeing from him as a rusher? Because again, talk about just a masterclass in a long arm.
You don't think from Vaughn is, because of the speed and the athleticism, but he's also got very good power.
Yeah.
So he can work into a guy, make him lean into it, and so earlier in the game, you give more power. Now you can go swipe a wrist and get to it because the player is expecting that power rush. And so now you can work on an edge, and so that's like the epitome of working an edge, making a long arm, now getting on the edge. I like inside. The quarterback was going to move in the pocket, and then you can see him with his left hand reaching all the way around the turn. That brings his hips back inside, and it allows him to get to the QB.
It's just so funny you talking through it. I mean, it's just textbook, right? It's like hand right down the center mass. When the tackle brings his outside hand, I'm knocking it down with my left. And then a lot of guys don't finish the rush here, but he's done it so many times. Like you said, that left hand around to get the sack there is pretty special.
Yeah, and he's done a bunch of them, so he knows exactly what to do and how to get down. But that was a big play because that set up the next one of us having a chance for a long yardage one where they ended up going to a screen into this spot. And we're playing zone in this one, Logan, and so they're trying to get 3 guys out into the blocks, bring the wide receiver underneath. We call this a transport screen where they're putting blockers ahead. But, man, the quarterback vision here come to life with Wags. And he wasn't missing that tackle, I promise you.
You're talking about, quarterback vision. His eyes are through here on this zone play. And, man, it's just cool to see a contact like this in the field. And then it's cool to see an older guy get juiced up for a play.
Yes.
Because you think they've done it so much, man, they're not that excited about it anymore, right? But he's still got a little pep in the step, which is great to see.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So, and then obviously, so that's great defensive play. So great punt, sets it up, and now we get an awesome opportunity on special teams to kind of return the favor here. They get in this kind of odd, unbalanced, kind of rugby-style kick here. And kind of had to get aligned to it like you were talking about.
Yep.
And, again, kind of a funky punt here, kind of this running punt. Ball sails on him, gets to the middle of the field like you were talking about. I don't know, Coach. I see this, and I'm like, right in the middle of the field. We can go wherever we want. And this seems like a good opportunity for a big return.
Yeah, and oftentimes you see the ball try to get outside the numbers on that one. But this happens where, you hit it into a different location, and then from there, guys staying attached. First guy getting to the miss. You can see guys getting attached up on the blocks, up on the top. Try to make the long snapper miss. Now we got action.
Yeah, action is right, man. Making the long snapper miss, make the punter miss. And then, again, guys running the football. We got guys that are excited in the back here, celebrating a little bit. Love to see that. And, again, that sequence went about as perfectly as it could have gone. And then it kind of capped the whole thing off, after this. Giants get the ball, and Mikey gets an interception, man. And it's really just a great play by him. Great intuition here by him.
Yeah, again, a zone onto this one where he's high. He's got to make sure he stays on top first, Logan. 13 can absolutely fly. So making sure he's on top of him, number one. Now as it comes back inside, now he's got the ability to stay on top and then go challenge for the catch after that, the break inside. And then after that, there were some yards on this return, and so like it was good. You can see us, everybody just losing our mind, in a positive way between the punt return and this. Like it just shifted so much of the momentum going in. But there's some guys leading out in front, getting some blocks. And that was a big play.
And it sets up 3 points, right? So coming out of the half, under 2 minutes, right? You get a kick return, and this 9 points. That's an awesome swing in the game, and just great to see everybody kind of doing their part, like you were talking about earlier. It's fantastic.
Complimentary football. When we get that part right, man, we can go nail it.
Coach, I can't wait to watch it today, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Shout out to Coach and Logan for that film study. Now, while they make their way back to the couch, let's get into our winning numbers brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And those winning numbers are from Scary Terry. Since his return to play, 1-7 has shown his impact for Washington. During last Sunday's game against the Giants, he continued to lead the way for our wide receivers with 3 catches for 69 yards and a crucial touchdown. Terry made this 51-yard touchdown look easy, putting an exclamation point on the game and giving the Commanders a 15-point lead. That touchdown is his 3rd of the season and 3rd in his last 4 games. We all love seeing 1-7 back on the field for the Burgundy and Gold. Now, let's take a look at more of the upcoming competition. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Now here's a look at some of the numbers from Washington and their upcoming competition. Washington enters Week 16 coming off a 29-21 win versus the New York Giants. The offensive side of the ball was firing on all cylinders. On the ground, the running back committee eclipsed over 140 yards on 37 carries, while quarterback Marcus Mariota connected with 6 different wide receivers for 211 yards and a touchdown. This was the most efficient day on offense for Washington in weeks, with the Commanders finishing with their 2nd most points scored all season long. It was a successful Giant sweep, but with 3 games left, the Commanders continued their last stretch of games against divisional opponents. The next one up is the Eagles at home. This will be the first matchup against Jalen Hurts and company since last season's NFC Championship game. The Eagles sit atop the division with a 9-5 record, but have not been putting up the same offensive numbers as their championship run last year. The Commanders will look to play spoiler against the division leaders on Sunday. Now we gotta go to break. Be sure to stick around, Commanders fans, because Logan, Coach, and I will be right back to count down the kickoff and talk more about this Week 16 matchup. Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Hell yeah, man. Division tournament, all right? Keep on advancing, all right? That's where we at, man. What a cool win, all right? It's been as challenging as we've been in a long time, all right, for the last couple months. There's nobody I'd rather do that with than the guy standing here, man. Tough, resilient, hard, all right? That's what it's all about. Jay Lane, all right? Big play, bro. Two touchdowns a year. First time since Brian Mitchell, man. So well done, man.
Stand up! I know I don't talk too much. Shout out to all the guys on the return team. Love y'all boys, man. Yeah, Jay Lane.
What's cool, man? We said yesterday, man, this game's dedicated to one another, all right? Brotherhood game. It was, man, the whole way, all right? Everybody handed that win, man. So enjoy it, man. Take a couple extra minutes today. Enjoy it. The feeling of a winning locker room, nothing like it.
It is time for your must-watch moment presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. And this week's must-watch moment is Jalen Lay's 2nd career punt return touchdown. On Sunday, the Commanders rookie took it to the house on a 63-yard punt return to advance Washington's lead 19-7. With that return, Lane became the first Washington player to have 2 punt return touchdowns in a single season since the legendary and future Hall of Famer Brian Mitchell. He did that back in 1994. I was 2. Now it's only the beginning for our rookie and his punt returning career. Now, it's time for our countdown to kickoff presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, yet again, another NFC East opponent. We know how big these games are, but this one's a little different because it's against Philly. Like I said, last time we saw them was the NFC Championship game. How ready are you for today's game?
Yeah, we're pumped for tonight, and anytime we get to play, at home, it's a big deal for us, the connection with the fans. But playing against them, offensively, you have to be clean and efficient. What I mean by that is staying on schedule, not have a penalty knock you back, make sure we can convert the 3rd downs. You don't want to get into a spot where it's a back and forth punting. So the efficiency, our ability to move it down on some drives, that's a big deal for us. And then, man, owning the ball. These guys have been good at taking it. And on the defensive side, that's got to be the key. You've got to knock out 1 or 2 to give another possession or 2 to our offense. And so those two things have got to go in our favor.
I mean, it sounds like you're describing complementary football, right?
Yep.
Offense needs to support the defense. Defense needs to get a turnover. I'm sure special teams are involved in that, right? Like in the week, how do you prep the guys for that level of detail in a game?
It's all of us doing that part,
Sure.
in the game. All right, get this block on Wanda. That's your job. But somebody else's job might be, hey, I got to help create field position as a gunner on punt. Trent's going to bang one up there. I got to make sure, hey, keep it inside the 10-yard line, make it go the long way. And so all those individual parts, Logan, they just keep adding up. Like, man, whatever your role is for this game, go execute it at the highest level. If that's I got to be excellent blitz pickup this week as a running back, that's what's got to happen. If I got to, play more man-to-man this week, that's what we got to get done. So whatever that part of your game plan is, make sure you own that one, and then that's what we need.
Coach, appreciate your time. Again, congrats on the win. We're excited to see us take on the Philadelphia Eagles. Commanders family, this is the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. We'll see y'all at the crib at Northwest State.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.